All right. Welcome back. Welcome to the start of a new anime review series. This is reviewing from High Dive. I watched a series on there. Made by Seven Arcs, the second anime I've come across, and last being Fatal Frame, which I'll discuss that later today. Yeah, that's quite interesting that I'm discussing two series from this one. Interesting. And I did look this up. So, by the way, the series is called Chain Soldier. That's what it's called. Doesn't involve much with chains per se. It's a weird series. I'll get to it. So I did a little research. I read a line. Apparently, the current Studio Seven Arc is not the original name of the company. No, it is not. So this company that made the first season show, because there's a second season coming, I'll talk about that later. So there were two separate companies. There were Seven Arcs, which was around for 10 years, and I haven't seen any of the series this one put out. None. Seven Arc Pictures, I have seen one series that this series company put out, and that was Trinity 7. And that one also's got adult themes too, and the main character of that series is a pervert, just like how this one is. And, well, there's actually less girls in this one. Well, over time there'll be more. Oh, don't worry, there'll be more. Yep, and of course, I did see not only the show, but also its OVA, and its two movies. Yep. Now, the current company, Seven Arcs, is a merged company. Basically, what they did is they merged the spin-off company with the main one and basically become the new merged company. And this has now become the second series because this actually was the previous series that released before this one was. Yes, the first season was released in January of this year, and the final episode was released back in March. Mm-hmm. Yep. Failure Frame, the series I'm watching right now, that was released back in July. And that one's airs on Crunchyroll, and yet this one airs on High Dive. I get kind of the reason why High Dive picked this one to air on their streaming service over Crunchyroll, because this one's very adult. Yes, very adult type series. So let's get started here. The main series. Of course, it's based on manga. Yeah, it's been a while since I actually did one based on manga. Because a lot of the anime I've watched, well, yes, there was also a couple anime I read the manga first, but they had light novels too. This is probably the first one just manga in a long time. Like, you probably think, okay, was there any series this year where it was, aside from Fairy Tail, One Year's Quest, aside from that one, is there anime this year where it's only manga, no light novels? Well, this might be the first one this year that's like that. Because mostly everything else has got light novels. Basically, this is also the 19th series. Yeah, this also is the 19th series I basically have done, which I think it's already broken the amount of the record I set last year of how many anime I watched last year, which was at 13. Yeah, 13. That's how many I put out. That's what it was last year. So I think like the last one I watched that was where it was just manga was The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. Yes, that was probably the last one I watched where it was like that. Yeah, where there's no light novels, just the manga. That was the last one. Before that, Monster Magic and Muscles, Samurai Harem, and Blade of the Immortal. I had like a few last year where based upon manga. This one is actually the first one aside from Fairy Tail One Here's Quest where it's only manga, not just also light novels as well. I mean, there's some I haven't read the manga for. I've read light novels, or in the case some I've only read the manga, not read light novels, merely because basically there's no translation of it here. The one was released recently, Too Much of the Fantasy. I had never read book two, I read book one. So, in the case of these first two episodes, now the main character is Yuki. Now, they do in fact remove a segment from the first episode, which I'm a little surprised they removed this. Yes. So, the main character is named Yuki Watara. Now, we do start with a flashback of Kurt Uzan, where she's like, has her village attacked by these creatures known as the Shuki, which kind of like demons, and they basically massacre her whole village. And she wants to become stronger because of she was the only survivor. And cut to Yuki Watara, where he's in his classroom, he's cleaning. Apparently, this is every morning. Now, they do cut a segment out of the scene here because in the manga, there is a small scene here of a guy with his brand new girlfriend they mentioned in the manga that he actually had won the right to date her via competition. They expunged that from the anime for no reason. I'm not sure why. I mean, it's something small. And then, of course, like, oh, he's so good. And then you see him also sew up a guy's button, because apparently he was good sewing too, aside from cleaning. Because his sister taught him like a lot of stuff how to be a guy, which is interesting to say the least. And then after school, he apparently starts like a career, and he's walking home, and then he walks to a portal. I'm like, this is interesting. Walking through a portal. Ends up in this post-apocalyptic wasteland. Now, in case you're curious, though, has there any anime I have personally seen where it involves a character walking through a portal to another world? I'm trying to think. I think this might be the first one. Usually these characters get transported. They don't just open a portal and just poof, they're here. Like, if you think about it, this might be the first one I've seen like this. You don't technically see the portal. They mentioned apparently these portals open up and then he's like, okay, he's told he has to wait there for the demon, the anti-demon corps to rescue him. And then one of the demons show up. And then we see Kuroka again, where she's riding a Suki who's like very weak. And of course, there's also two kids that got caught up in this stuff too. Though, of course, the other members of her squad, which is Squad 7, which is made up of these people. Himori Azama, who's voiced by Natalie Raw, not like a real sister. Shushu Sagura, who reminds me of several characters. She's a very, very, very bubbly character, voiced by Juliet Simmons. And a pink-haired girl, Nell Akamara, who is 11 years old, I mentioned in the episode. And she's voiced by Krista McGuire, which anybody knows her. She was voicing this girl, Malim, from That Time Crisis Slime. Which I think this makes this the second character I can think of she's voiced where she's got pink hair. Because I've seen a good number of series that she's been in. Like, by the way, this also is the 22nd series that I've seen her in. Yes, definitely. Yeah, her characters have done be varied. Like, of course, she's voiced foxes, obviously. But not much for pink hair. Yes, I don't see that very often, but here you go. So, and of course, this girl, which they rescue, and of course, he shows some bravery, which gives Cody that idea. Basically, all this girl's got abilities, and her ability is to make people into slaves. And she's like, puts her hand out, and he proceeds to lick it. And then he turns over into a Shuki and beats up all the monsters, and he basically is like, he's like wearing his clothes when he transforms. And he's like permanently a slave. And like, okay, so his reward is to give him his first kiss. And even knocking off her hat is like, ooh, I can't control my body, so let's basically make out. Yes, he's making out with her. I'm like, dude, you dog, you got this beautiful one to make out with you. And also, it's all due to a ability she has. Like, oh yeah, now here's the thing. In the manga, the reason why he can do this is because, well, the man is a pervert. They imply that in the anime. In the manga, they downright state the fact he's a pervert. Yes. So, of course, basically the kid had dropped up back in the real world. He, of course, is brought on as the caretaker of the group. He can't exactly join the Demon Corps because only women can join. Yes, seriously, only women can join. And so he's brought on, of course, he's told to clean, wash clothes, food, and do whatever stuff. And that's kind of the first episode. Next episode is focused on Shushu. And we show off her ability. The one thing I should also mention here, before I continue, is that the manga does not always focus on the female lead of the series. She would basically be just not there. She's not like having him go in the field all the time battling monsters. Yes, that's something interesting about this series. He spends time with each of the characters. And of course, basically while he's cleaning, he accidentally peeps on the girls. Where he sees Himari butt naked. Yes. Sees her, basically her rear end, and he's like, ooh. It's like a high, and Shushu catches him, and of course, like the picture kind of blackmails him. She also has him clean her room. Also proceeds to pick up her panties. These blue, white striped panties. And okay, so have they clean? So they video games, and they play Street Fighter here, which I don't remember they did this in the manga, because I found this interesting, the fact that he played Guile. They're playing Street Fighter. Yes, Street Fighter. Now, of course, they probably got permission from Capcom, probably did this scene here, so. And here's the thing. Punishment for losing a match. Lose a piece of clothing. And Yuki lost every time, so he's down to his boxers. So Shu shows her ability. She can go a little bit giant size. So she pins him down and takes off his boxers, and she laughs the fact he's got a tiny dick. I am not kidding. She sees it later and she's shocked how big it is. Yes, seriously, they're doing dick jokes. How big and how small it is. Moving on. So then, not long after that, a monster attacks. And of course, she goes big, and the way she does a little pose, it's basically meant, I read a line, this is a reference to Ultraman. Yep, goes big, battles the monster, beats him, and then all of a sudden finds, oh crap, there's another one. And he's got back up, and the monster sees tear some of her clothes. They're like, oh, I gotta go giant size. So he's going with the clothes, like her glove, nope. Stiffing her shirt, nope. That's partial. He figured, okay, we need her power. So then he proceeds to go into her locker and grab her boots. And licks one of them. And does a halfway transformation to allow it to beat the monster. By the way, where is basically Kyrus? She and Himari are off. Get this. They're off at a meeting while this whole monster attack is happening. And also, she comes home from school. And she's referred to as his senpai because she joined before he did. Despite the fact she's younger than he is. And in case you're curious though, because when I read there's girls with interest in him, does she do it? No, she is not having a romantic interest in him at all. Mainly because he's older than she is. He's 17, 18-ish. The female lead is 21. Yep. So after beat the monster, of course, he gets, by the way, they also show a scene before the monster attack, before the game thing, where Shushu has them basically, he's giving a massage to Shushu. He mentions his sister taught him, is and he mentions he's got siblings. Now, this was the second time mentioning he had a sister, but they don't mention what happened to her. It's implied that she died until we see the end of the episode. We'll get back to that. So, yeah, and then of course, basically, as Shushu punishment for, what happened, she gets to help out with chores. And apparently she's got no problem with it. And it's very implied by the end of the episode, she has fallen for him. Yep. Yeah, this woman who's sort of very bubbly personality, but she's very dominating. Yep. The episode ends quite interestingly with having more these anti-demon core girls being attacked by a red skull Shushi, and then being stopped by another girl who's transformed. Who is this? Well, she's voiced by Carly Hoch, excuse me. This is Aba Wakari, Yuki's sister. Yep, this is Yuki's sister. And apparently she can move her hair like she's Medusa from Marvel Comics. You see, whenever I see any character who has their hair move, you might think, ooh, do I think of Uzumaki? No, I don't think of Uzumaki. I've seen images of Uzumaki. I've never actually read the manga. But the first thing that comes to my mind when I see moving hair from a woman, a lot of the time the first thing I think of is Medusa from Marvel Comics. That's the simple gist of it. If anybody has a problem with that, that's fine. But that's what I think of first. Okay? So yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do hit the dislike button. So I have to go because I have to go to visit my sister at the bank. Because I'm going to drop off her birthday present. Because I did not get a chance to give her birthday. Because I was just getting off work when she was at my house recently this week. So when I get back, I will watch the other series Seven Arcs basically does. Failure Fran, watch that and do a comic corner. Okay? Thanks for you. See you. Bye.